All right, hey, we're here. We're coming to you from Martinsville tonight. A little rain going on, kind of a dreary day, but everybody needs a good dreary day. Let me turn my lights up a little bit. I know y'all love me running around all these studios and getting everything looking good. Anyway, tonight we got a little bit of a controversial topic. But I think it's kind of getting to the point where you can't avoid it. And everybody's been telling me about Jeff Atkins. I have to admit, Ray Reynolds was the first to alert me of this. But Jeff Atkins is a coach, or has been a coach for the city of Martinsville for 9 years, I believe. Martinsville Bulletin broke the story. And basically, he wants to still be their coach, but they don't want him to be coach anymore. And everybody's kind of like, well, what is this about? And it's not like he's not a winning coach. I think he's had some state champion. I'm not sure exactly how many, but they've been champions. They've done well. And of course, we had COVID and all these kind of things, but they relieved him, and he still wants to do it. And then people say, well, what's going on here? Apparently the city schools in Martinsville say that they want a new direction. Well, what does that mean? So that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. We're going to have pictures of Mr. Atkins up here in a second. But this is just kind of amazing. The phone number is 276-732-5898. And I want to get some viewpoints on this. But let me give you the other thing I'm hearing. Of course, this is the controversial part. The school superintendent has been sued about this. But he keeps, and he'll say it publicly, that he thinks the school system ought to look like the community. Now, I believe that in Martinsville, the ratio for the African American and whites is, I think it's more African Americans. I think that's accurate. I can see his viewpoint on that the students need to have more of a representation, more diversity. I can understand that. But, you got to wonder, did Mr. Atkins lose his job because of the color of his skin? And some people might think that's too much to even ask that question. But it's something we've been hearing for a while. And I'm wondering if we have positions already filled and people want to continue to do the job. What does all this mean? And I might be overdoing it. But the number to call me is 276-732-5898. 276-632-5898. Now I'm going to do something I don't usually do. But since Ray Reynolds kind of let me know about this, he was the first to alert me about it. I think the sports editor of the Bulletin was the first to do the story. Are we missing something? Watch this. I hadn't done the show from here for a while, so I hope everything's working. Hey, I don't know if you're watching the show, but can I have permission to put you on TV?
Yeah.
All right. I'm doing the show tonight on Jeff Atkins. And I'm wondering, because I'm learning more, that he wanted to still be coach. And people are kind of shaking it out. And, of course, you have to listen to what the superintendent's been saying for several years. What's your opinion?
Well, terminating a coach the day before his birthday, I thought was disheartening. I thought it was just unprofessional. But another thing is the excuse of going in a different direction does not make any sense. When a man's been there 9 years, he's took you to the championship final 4 times, to the semifinal 6 times, and I think he came in, he inherited a losing team 2 or 3 years in a row. At least 2 years they had lost.
Yeah.
And then for him to miss a whole season because of the pandemic, and then take the team as far as he did last year, knowing that he lost so many starters. But the thing about it is, he's not just a coach to these students. He's a father figure. He's a leader, and he has a lot of doors he can open up. Like when Devontae went to Radford, they came to Jeff and got all the info. And one thing about it, when I photographed Martinsville, I always provided pictures and videos for the coaches to use to help the kids get scholarships and help them advance themselves. But Jeff Atkins is a professional. He got cut so the Chicago Bulls could keep Michael Jordan. That's what kind of player Jeff Atkins was. He 1984, he played on the ACC championship team with Len Bias when Maryland won the ACC championship. And Jeff Atkins just brings so much into the community as a father figure of these kids, and a professional. And the man's won 10 championships altogether. He's been associated, and he played on the Martinsville team that won 2 state championships. And people in shock in the community, and that's black and white. People in shock, like what is going on?
Yeah.
But as I said last week on air, I've also heard the gossip that with Danny Turner going around telling people that the Department of Justice will keep the school being closed if it's a majority of African Americans, that some of the people in the community think that's the way they're trying to go, is get all African American coaches and administration, and that way you'll have a better chance to keep the school open if reversion takes place, because the city is done so much with the reversion, and they've been traitors to the school.
Uh-huh.
Your council have been traitors to them, but what they did, they made these promises they didn't keep. But as far as the school administration, Dr. Talley, I consider him a great friend, and also Mr. Dixon, and Mr. Simonton's always been good to me. So I'm on. It's hard to be on both sides of the fence because these people are my friends, but then you're hearing out in the public that also the council. I got Danny Turner saying that the council can control the school board because they control their money. And, you got to wonder if the council is trying to pull the strings with the school and telling them, if you bring in more black coaches, you'll have a better chance of keeping Martinsville open if reversion takes place. You don't really know, but I just know Jeff Atkins is a Class A guy, and he didn't deserve what happened. You fire a coach the day before his birthday. It's just unheard of. And the way they went about it, might as well put it on Twitter and he would have found out. But
we covered this on our Facebook page last week. A lot of people said, well, it happens all the time. Coaches get fired all the time. But not on the local level. Unless...
No, you don't fire winners. You don't fire coaches that are winners and coaches that develop your kids. And, look at what Jeff did for the team. And look at Devontae being player of the year because of Jeff coaching him and tutoring him and being there with him. And, a lot of people don't realize those Saturday mornings Jeff's over there for practice, and if he has to go get the kids, bring them over there to practice, he does it. He's been a monument for us in the community, and he's the kid's strength. He's helped so many of them and showed them the right way. If you make the grades, you can advance yourself, and we all know sports is a way to get out of poverty. So Jeff Atkins has got so many kids out of Martinsville and Henry County, they would have never got to go if it hadn't been for him helping them so much. And they're young men, and Jeff's coaches. Look at his coaches. His 2 coaches are nothing but first class guys. They're great guys. Dandridge. Coach, you just can't say much here I am, a Henry County guy fighting reversion, but when it comes to the Martinsville athletics, I was part of it because I was there for 5 years taking pictures. So I got to know these people, and they set example for the kids there. And I just don't understand the reason when you say you want to go in another direction and you got 2 state championships in 9 years and you're the all-time winningest high school in the state of Virginia, 15 state championships and the state final game 23 times, and you got a coach that has won the 2 state championships for the school and has coached 2 state championships for the school. I don't understand people's reasoning and thinking for it, especially when you need a time to come together right now, and you need unity with what's going on.
Okay. Well, Ray, I appreciate you talking to us tonight. Give us a little insight of what's going on here. I'm kind of waiting to see what the public's got to say, but I appreciate it tonight, okay?
Well, I can tell you, Charles, right now, the people in Henry County are advocating for Jeff Atkins to be the next Bassett High School basketball coach.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably had 20, 25 people have reached out and asked me if I talked to him, and I've sent him messages. I've talked to Teddy Martin, and Teddy Martin said he was going to look into it. No one's been offered a job. And if Jeff Atkins applies, he's got the job. It's his, because you just don't get people like Jeff Atkins. He's a college coach.
Right. So he's not going to have he's probably not going to have a tough time finding a job, is he?
No, he's not going to have a job. I mean, it's just what they did is a travesty to the school. I mean, to the kids over there. And it's not all about winning, but it's about what he did for the people that he coached.
Right. Well,
I was there. I was in the locker room. I heard the talks. He said.
One thing we do know is that the city council does not get along with the school board. They don't like Mr. Talley. I mean,
did you see what Jennifer did to Talley last week? She said, "You're not getting $300,000."
Yeah. Yeah, but it's definitely a dysfunctional group.
It's a big loss for the city, and I haven't talked to Tommy Golden to see, because he would be the athletic director. He might be the one that had to tell Jeff we no longer need your services. But I'd be curious to see what because Tommy and Jeff I thought was pretty close.
Yeah,
and the Martinsville people. Let me tell you something about Coach Atkins. He taught the kids how to win. He put that into them when they played. They played to win. A lot of coaches teach the kids how not to lose. He taught them how to win and also how to lose with dignity. The games that they lost to Radford and some of these other schools, they held their heads high and they shook hands and they showed sportsmanship. And, it carried over into some of the fans, because sometimes Monkman and some of his people get unruly, and Jeff would call them down and tell them,
Yeah.
So, Jeff held the basketball program together. He had kids come to his program that could have played at other schools because of who he was, and they knew they had a better chance of getting athletic scholarships by playing on the winning team, being on the state championship team. And I just think you have done a lot to hurt the future of the athletes who will come through our program now, because you don't have somebody like Jeff to be there for them,
All right. Well, thanks, Ray. Thanks for helping us get the show started and giving us a little insight as well. Thank you so much. All right, folks, we're going to open up the phone lines. You see the 276-732-5898 is the number to get in on the show tonight. All right. Just put the picture of him up on the screen while we're dealing with that. Give us a ring here. 732-5898 is the number. Give us a call tonight. Nothing like live television. But let me see if there's some people that agree with this decision or disagree with it. 732-5898. Do people care? I'm sure there are people out there that care. They probably don't want to get into a live talk show, but is the administration making a good decision here? 276-732-5898. Somebody said, well, Charles, we might not know until they find another choice or another pick on how this is going to weigh out. 276-732-5898. Anybody want to weigh in on Coach Jeff Atkins being forced out of his job? None of us really like to be forced out of a job. Most of us want a decent explanation, don't we? Hello, you on the air?
Hello, Charles.
Yeah.
Is it open topic?
Yeah, we can open topic, but what do you think about the coach? I'll do your topic too. But what do you think about somebody who wants to keep a job and has won state championships and they oust him?
Well, I really don't know in it. It doesn't sound reasonable. I don't know anything about this case because I don't keep up sports that much.
Have you ever been fired? Have you ever been fired?
Yeah, most of the time, if you don't win in coach and all, they're not going to fire you, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so I can't really comment on it.
All right, what's on your mind tonight?
Okay, I wanted to ask you a little bit about something I thought about in the last few days. It's all this uproar about abortion.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought about it. I know today birth control is readily available to everyone.
I understand.
I can see maybe some teenagers, getting pregnant and having abortions, and I might see maybe some people just out of high school, they might get pregnant and have abortions, but who is having all these abortions? I can't figure out who else having the abortions.
Well, obviously they're having them, but one of the things we've reported here lately is not many people are having babies right now. It's not that many here locally. One of the things that's interesting is there's an abortion pill. Apparently, there's a pill that can knock it out, pretty quick. And I think even if they make it illegal, that pill is going to change things because it's just going to be so easy to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's sort of like a different subject, because a pill more than likely is not going to cost the government much, but I understand that these abortions that the government pays for, it costs a lot of money, but I just thought of the day, well, who's getting all these abortions? I just can't fathom who's having all these abortions. You say, you would think most young women, if they made one mistake and they got pregnant and they had an abortion, well, surely they would sort of learn a lesson and not go down that road again. And I just cannot figure out who's having all these abortions. See, and maybe somebody else can call in and enlighten me on it. I don't know. I just thought of the day. And you know what I'm saying? I can't understand it.
Right.
Because, you got all this birth control now. Back 50 years ago, you could understand people, things weren't available like they are today.
Right.
But anyway, maybe somebody call in and enlighten us.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of amazed that there's not more discussion in our community about abortion. With all of the religious aspects and so forth. Sometimes it might be too hot of a subject. Too hot of a potato. Most experts tell businesses don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. It's too hot of a topic. People have too many different viewpoints on it. Women have a viewpoint than men. So anyway, 732-5898. That's definitely a hot topic. The next thing is this monkeypox. The CDC is now warning gay and bi men to be careful. Now I'm learning about this. I see on the Drudge Report they had a picture of somebody's hands and it had all these spots on it. I don't know exactly what the monkeypox does, but it looks. I mean, one thing you can kind of sense is this could be COVID all over again. What is this monkeypox and how will it affect us? I got to get up to date on what we're dealing with. Good afternoon. You're on the air. Hello.
Hey, Charles.
Yes.
Just wanted to comment on the situation about Coach Atkins.
Yes.
I've known Coach pretty much 20 years,
Yeah.
and I knew him when he was just playing. I mean, watching him play, let alone coaching.
Right.
This is like shocking me totally off guard. But
Oh yeah. Especially the fact that he doesn't want to quit.
I mean, it's like you were saying. I guess the day we're living in, but how can you force somebody out of a job, let alone a position like that?
Right, and somebody who's won state champions.
I mean, really, he's carried on tradition for Martinsville for years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you just want him out to so-called not really better the program, but
They say they want a different direction. Well, what's wrong with the current direction?
you can't get much better than that going to the state championship. I mean,
Yeah.
he contends every year, and like one person was talking, a lot of the kids, I'm sure, look to Coach Atkins like a role model, like a dad figure.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm just shocked. I don't really know what to say. I just wish him the best in his future, because many games I've seen him play, let alone coach over the years. I mean, it's just Carlisle coach, and then he left Carlisle to come back home to Martinsville, and then all of a sudden he's out. What the world?
Yeah. I think we need some more answers on this. And I really hope it's not the color of his skin. I mean, and some people have, online have said they thought it could be. I mean, we know the superintendent keeps saying over and over again that the school should look like the students that it has, and I know we all know what he's saying. But one of the things that I think is kind of beautiful about sports is that that you have all the races seem to working better than ever in sports. And
I agree totally with you. It's just, cutting it on to watch your program is one thing, but then you get the news that he's out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like you. Hopefully we'll get some more clarity of the situation at hand.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting to see who they hire.
I mean, that's some big shoes to fill. I mean,
yeah.
you go from, the good old days, I call it Husky Hall, and then Coach Wells, and now Atkins. I mean, you just tradition. I mean,
I know I put a lot of emphasis on Martinsville here lately, and I can understand why people sometimes think I'm overdoing it, but there's something afoot in Martinsville, don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, something. I think we need to scrutinize what's going on in Martinsville, from city council to the school board and all this stuff. We need to know where they're coming from, because I'm not quite sure I don't think the people are getting it.
Well, there's a lot that they need to. I mean, we elect them in to do the job for us.
Yeah.
They need to just give us common courtesy to respond if we have any concerns about anything, let alone.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed they're spending $70,000 to keep people from being able to vote on reversion.
Yeah, I mean that seems like the big thing now, but there's a bigger picture than just.
You're right. And one thing I can tell you, and I feel very confident about my sourcing on this, is that city council and the current school board do not like each other. They don't. It's almost a kind of a bad blood going on between them, and a lot of people think that's even a more reason that city council wants to get rid of the school system, because they don't have to deal with it anymore. They're tired of it. There's just bad feelings.
It's just a sad situation all the way around, but hopefully we'll get some closure about it. And
we got an election coming up, and I know that we're hearing names of candidates that are coming out, so that might be a chance that the public can show their concern.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely show mine, that's for sure.
Okay, all right, I appreciate your call tonight. All right,
yeah, thank you, Charles.
Yeah, man, we're talking about a lot of different things, but the hot topic tonight is Jeff Atkins. You see him on your screen. Last week he got ousted, and people are asking questions. They're saying, why? What's wrong with Mr. Atkins? Why do we need a new direction? I mean, these are the questions people are asking. So, anyway, we do need to take a commercial break. You watch the Star News, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back coming to you here from Martinsville tonight. You know, we did this thing. We got studios in Eden, and we got them in Danville, and we got something. We can do TV from just about anywhere now. But one of the hot topics tonight, we're talking about Jeff Atkins, and I know Jeff a little bit. His wife is Kim Atkins. She used to be on city council. Now, here's one thing I bet. I bet you if she was on city council, he wouldn't have lost his job. What do you think? 732-5898, that's our number. And I know my video's flicking. I know the IT department is concerned about that. I'm gonna see if I can do a poor man fix, but I doubt I can. Let's just see here. Hold on. I'm always breaking the rules in television. They're always getting on me. You shouldn't be doing that, Charles. That's just me. I'm sorry. Anyway, give us a ring here. We can talk about various other things. There you see Coach Atkins. I don't think it's fair. I usually don't weigh in on things, but I want to know more. I don't think somebody with his good track record deserves to be treated like that. And one thing is, the older I get, the more I'm concerned about how people get treated. You know, especially us old folks. I'm becoming an old folk, and I can see that it's not going to be easy. Maybe that's the only reason I work for myself. I can't fire myself. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I don't understand. Every time you talk about somebody, you're talking about the city. Why?
Because the city's a hot topic right now, Nancy. I wish if you're going to talk to me that you'd stay on the line. This is a talk show, honey. You got to at least talk. She's a trip. She called in today and said my elevator didn't go to the top floor. Hello. Hello, you on the air?
Hey, Charles.
Yes.
You know, Jeff does that job because he loves the game, not because he needs the money.
I'm sure. Let me see if we can put him up and deal with that flicker. But what do you think about this?
Well, I just think it's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
He loves the game, and he's been doing it for years and years, and he's in it because he loves it, and it has nothing to do with the money. And I just think it's dirty.
Right. Maybe we can. Go. What do you think's going on here? I think they're just kind of begging for us to talk about this.
Probably so. They're probably getting the free publicity that they want from it.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the things. I mean, the superintendent has said that he thinks the school system ought to look like what the students look like, and I kind of inferring that he's saying that it needs to be more African Americans. But I don't. Go ahead.
That statement kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, because a lot of the administration seems to be African American, and I'm okay with that. I mean, no problem with that. But it's like, if you don't fit that mold, do we fire you?
No, I think it's sad. And tell negative Nancy that's why you're talking about them, because they put it out there for you to talk about it.
Yeah. Nancy's a trip, isn't she?
She is.
She's a trip. I mean, my thing is that all of the craziness seems to be going on in the city right now. Is it just me, or what do you think?
No, I think they want the publicity. They want it. They want you to talk about it.
Right.
They actually enjoy it and pretend like they don't.
Right. One of the things Eric Phillips said, he said that the city, if you don't say it, if you don't present their story like they want you to, they'll call you a liar.
Oh, that's not good, Charles.
I know, but I mean, they pretty much accuse me of that. They say that I'm the spreader of misinformation.
Well, no, you just keep doing what you're doing. People tune in and they listen because they want to hear what you're saying, because they know you're going to tell exactly what's going on.
Right. One of the things that really amazed me, because they got Kendall Davis, the guy from Channel 7, and and they hired him, I'm sure, to. I mean, from a public relations standpoint, you want to put out a good spin. You want people to feel good about the city. But they put out those numbers, and the numbers for the reversion was higher than everybody thought. The night before, they told City Council they had spent about $800,000, and then in that report they sent out to me, it was over $1 million. I thought that was a hoot, and then people were responding on the city Facebook page, kind of telling them how much they didn't like the reversion concept. So that was kind of for me, that was a little bit of a revelation in the fact that it wasn't just me. When they put on their own stuff, it creates a lot of negativity.
Well, they're doing that to cause the controversy.
You think so?
Yeah, I do.
Right.
But I just wanted to call in and say Jeff doesn't do this for the money. He does it for the love of the game and the kids, and he enjoys it, and I think it's a shame.
Well, I bet you the county I bet you will pick him up in a New York minute. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. And I hope they do.
Yeah.
I hope they do.
Right.
And I hope you have a good night, Charles.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. 276-732-5898 is the number. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Jeff Atkins. I think it's fair to say he's a super coach. In other words, he's won a lot of championships and took the kids to the championships a lot. Doesn't win them all the time, but who does? Good track record. Good fella. I mean, I remember when his wife was running, and he talked to me when we were shooting a commercial. He's real nice, real polite. And he obviously knows the game of basketball. And he still wants to do this. So it's sad to see that happen. And I think when this stuff happens, we do need to talk about it as a community. Why is this happening? And I think the next thing we got to keep our eyes on is who's going to be the next coach. And the next coach is going to be under a lot of scrutiny too. 276-732-5898. That's our number. We're talking about a lot of different things tonight. Coach Atkins is the top thing we've been talking about. But I'm trying to get people's viewpoints on this. And how do you feel about it? I hadn't heard anybody call in tonight and say that it's a good thing that he's been let go. They just say a different direction. And of course, we in the news business, we hear that one every now and then. PR, what does that mean? It's like, I always think it means confusion. It's like we really can't answer this. So we're going to come up with something that's generic. Hello, you on the air. You on the air? Go ahead. Hello. Do you want to speak on TV? Can you hear me? I know the phone's working. All right. Call me back again. Maybe it'll work this time. We have a simple number, 276-732-5898. And I really need to see if I can get Mr. Atkins on. He's going to probably try to stay at the fray. I probably would be good advice to do that. But I think it would be pretty smart for the county to think about it. 732-5898. Am I being too tough on the city? If y'all, I mean, I'm open-minded. If y'all think I'm overdoing it, let me know. Negative Nancy thinks I am. 276-732-5898 is the number. What's your opinion? What do you think? Is Charles overdoing the city? I know Kendall Davis thinks I am. He's been on me since he got the job. Says we do a little podcast, he says. 732-5898. We are going to take another commercial break, and we'll come back for a few more thoughts. Is this an injustice in our community? You tell me. You see the number on the screen. We'll be right back. All right, we're back taking your calls right now. And I got a caller waiting. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah.
Maybe I know Jeff Atkins was a good coach and everything. I remember him from way back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Maybe they found out something on him or something, or they got something why they wanted to let him go. You ever thought about that?
Well, okay. Well, if that'd be the case, then maybe people need to know what's going on. If there's some problem, maybe the public does need to know. But, tell us what's going on. I mean, either he's a state champion coach or what. But I'm hoping they just not get rid of him because he's old and white. How about that? You there? Hello? Hello?
Somewhere or another, I'm keep losing you.
Okay, I know. All right, let me turn it up here a little bit. What I'm saying is, I hope they just not getting rid of him because he's old and white. What do you think?
I don't think it's because he's old and white. I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
And another thing you got to look at, Charles, the school board was the one that made these decisions, and everybody on that school board is white.
No, I thought they had. I thought it was mixed.
No, I pulled this thing up, and I think they got about 6 or 7 on there, and all of them look white to me.
Okay, I got you. I'm not sure, but I thought it was a more of a mix. All right.
Check into that.
Okay, man. I will. Hey, thanks for calling.
All right,
folks. We'll leave the picture up there. We're having a little bit of a flicker with. I think we're gonna get that fixed, aren't we, Mr. IT? It's always something. The television's not working. Anyway, we've been talking about Jeff Atkins. You see him on the screen. He's a winnable coach. He's won a lot of. He's known for winning. And usually that's what we judge coaches by. Do they win? So I think he gets the okay on that. Now, if it's something else, maybe we need to know about it. But I think he's got a pretty clean record. I think I would know. We keep that news line going. He's publicly said he wants to still be coach. One of the things we do know, Donna Dillard, I know she's African American. I don't know all the school board members, but Donna Dillard would be African American. No, she's on that school board. And there's talk that Donna Dillard's going to run for city council. A lot of people are encouraging her, I understand. Good evening, you're on the air.
I tell you, if it's what you think it is, and it's beginning to make me wonder the same thing, then I think that's saying a whole lot. And I think that's very rude, for one. And number two, that tells me that they feel like they're not going to have to deal with the schools anymore, that this is all a done deal, and so they're just going to go ahead and get rid of him.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to need a basketball coach anymore.
I mean, anytime I hear we're going in a different direction and you're winning, that's weird.
Exactly. I mean, they were just in the newspaper here a while back. Remember, I even called in and said something about it.
Yeah.
I said, why would you want to shut the school down that's on the front page of the newspaper for winning?
Right.
And then you're going to turn around and get rid of the man that got him there? What the world?
Yeah.
Something is wrong with this picture.
I know, and you know, and everybody says I'm overdoing it, but
no, you're not.
It's just
you're spot on. This is what needs to be brought to people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, we got a hospital that looks like they want to be half open. You know, we got all kind of little problems going on.
Oh, did you hear about the hospital's water lines busting in the OR?
No.
And in the operating room, and so they had people that were supposed to be scheduled to have surgeries, and they had to postpone them.
Wow. Well, I know my video line's flicking, so you can have problems. I do realize that. I mean, but
yeah, I mean, I understand you can have problems, but golly, I'm like, what if somebody? I don't know. Somebody could have been in there when it happened. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
But it's just a scary situation. I mean, they're talking about wanting to shut it down.
I tell you, one thing I am kind of amazed at, and I know Sarcastic Man says this because she runs an ad over here, but Tammy Pearson to me has been like the bright light in the city right now because she keeps asking questions. How much is this costing? You know, how much are we going to spend? That kind of thing. She seems to me to be asking the right questions.
And that's what you need. You need somebody there asking questions.
Yeah.
And what in the world is going on with this attorney that we're supposed to be paying for? And he's saying, just keep doing the reversion and they'll end up switching around. I mean,
you talking about George Lyle,
like
yeah.
An attorney that I paid for one time, and at the 11th hour, he turned on me.
Wow.
And I'm like, what in the HELL is going on?
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's a very well-known attorney here in Martinsville. I'd like to spit his name out, but I won't.
George Lyle. I don't mind. I mean, I think you're talking about George Lyle, right?
No, not George Lyle.
Okay.
But I'm going to tell you what, it really ticked me off. It was a custody case.
Okay.
And he was like, well, it seems like to me you're not going to be happy until you read about him in the obituaries. And I'm like, it doesn't have anything to do with that. This is my son's safety. His father's a drug addict and an alcoholic and also an abuser.
Wow.
And he lived in a rural area that my child could have screamed and no one would have been able to hear him.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm out of time.
I'm already proved that he was abusive, and he already had supervised visitation that he never even showed up for. I got to back out of here. We got to do Monday Night Live. We got to do, if you want to see more live programming, change the channel to channel 17. We got Monday Night Live coming up. Stay with us. All right. Thank you, Charles.
Bye-bye.